So since this two kingdom classification was not accepted, after this many scientists tried to classify the organisms, but none of them were accepted by, they should be accepted scientifically, then only they will come into use. So the next classification that was accepted was Whittaker's classification. Whittaker's classification included, separated the, we saw that all Chlamydomonas, which is Chlamydomonas, Chlorella, or unicellular organisms which have cell wall. And there are certain organisms like uh, protozoans like Plasmodium, which do not have cell wall. They have chlorophyll, they do not have chlorophyll. They are coming together in one group. Earlier, this was named under Plantae, this was given under Animalia. Now they are coming under same group. So if a new classification comes, there may be changes. So even if this Whittaker classification has changes in future also, we can see that one organism shifts from one kingdom to another kingdom. It may happen. So we'll start discussing about Whittaker's five kingdom classification. Yesterday I introduced you names of these five kingdoms. First one is Monera. Second one is Protista. Third, fungus, plural fungi. Fourth one, Plantae. And fifth one is Animalia. How many kingdoms are there in five kingdom classification? Five kingdoms are there. Okay. How many, what do you say? How many kingdoms are present in Whittaker's classification? If I ask, you should say there are five kingdoms. Right. We'll start discussion with the group Monera. Monera is a kingdom which includes all bacteria. Bacteria is the most abundant creature on the earth. Most abundant. Which is the most abundant creature on earth? If someone asks you, it is bacteria. Why is it bacteria? It is found in air. It is found in water. It is found in soil. Just you take some small amount of soil in it, you'll see thousands of bacteria in that. You can see it inside living organisms. You can see it outside. That means on skin of living organisms. And there is no limit of, sometimes you can see bacteria even in extreme climatic condition like deserts, hot springs. You should know what is hot spring. Hot springs are small fountains, natural fountains in which hot water comes out because of when heat expands the water, it comes out with force because of increase in pressure also. That those are called as hot springs. They are found in cold climatic conditions also like polar regions. So even if the temperature, salt concentration, ocean water is very salty, in that concentration also organisms can survive, bacteria can survive. Because of this reason, there are so many different varieties of bacteria found everywhere, and it is the most abundant creature. Most abundant means highly populated on total earth, which is having more number, that is bacteria, right? Next. Structurally, these bacteria are of different types, structure of bacteria. If it is round like this, it is called as coccus. If it is rod shaped like this is round. This is rod shaped. It is called as bacillus. Okay. And if it is comma shaped like this, it is called as vibrio. Okay, round bacteria. Okay, round shaped, rod shaped. One more shape is there. I'm not able to remember. I don't remember. One more shape is there. 1 minute. Spiral bacteria. Spiral means bacteria sometimes they are like this. These spiral bacteria are called as spirillum. Okay, spiral bacteria are called as spirillum. they are turning like this. Okay, only if very small turn it is called as vibrio. If it is more twisted, it is called as spirillum. This is based on the structure of bacteria. And you know this, there is a difference in cell wall also. This bacteria structurally, if you see, they have structure is very simple structure. Structure is very simple. But you know what? They have very complex behavior. Why I am saying they have very complex behavior? Because all bacteria are not alike. In this, you can see some are autotrophic bacteria. Autotrophic means, you know what are autotrophic? Organisms which can make their own food are called as autotrophic bacteria. But you know, some of the bacteria are photoautotrophic bacteria. They can make their own food by using sunlight, like plants are preparing their own food using sunlight. Some are chemoautotrophic bacteria. Chemoautotrophic means if they don't use sunlight, they don't get their energy source from sunlight. Instead, they use inorganic substances. Inorganic substances means you know what is inorganic substances. Substances which are not hydrocarbons. They are very small molecules like nitrogen, nitrite, nitrate, nitrites, ammonia, iron. These are the substances from which they derive energy and they generate ATP molecules from that. There are some, all the bacteria are not autotrophic. There are some heterotrophic bacteria also. Heterotrophic bacteria, they can be, what do you say, decomposers, saprophytes you can say. They feed on dead organisms. They feed on dead organisms. And second type, there are parasites. I'll write here what is decomposer means. Decomposer, decomposers are those, they feed on dead organic matter like fungus do. Fungus feed on dead organic matter, same like that. This bacteria also feed on dead organic matter. Whereas parasites are those bacteria, or those living organisms which live inside or outside of other organisms and cause diseases. Okay, so there are parasites also. Okay, we'll discuss one by one classification if we see. So that is the reason why I am saying there is a wide difference in this behavior pattern I'm saying, because they are showing autotrophic nature also, heterotrophic nature also. In autotrophic, they are showing photoautotrophism, chemoautotrophism, heterotrophism, either they are decomposers or parasites. This many patterns are shown. Okay, right. Okay, now listen. Back, these all Monera is classified into again two groups. First one is uh, Archaebacteria, Archaebacteria. Second one is Eubacteria, Eubacteria. The term archaea means ancient bacteria. The first creature that is formed on this planet is defined as Archaebacteria. Eubacteria is called as true bacteria. Why? What is the major difference is the difference is in cell wall composition. Cell wall usually they are made up of some polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are carbohydrates. Polysaccharides are carbohydrates. So there should be some carbohydrate present in cell wall. In case of plant cell wall, we find the substance cellulose. Okay. In place of fungus cell wall, we find the substance chitin. So in case of Archaebacteria, what we are finding in the cell wall of Archaebacteria? Archaebacteria has pseudomuramic acid. Pseudomuramic muramin, you can say, in cell wall. This is one type of carbohydrate. Other eubacteria have N-acetyl muramic acid. N-acetyl muramic acid or N-acetyl glycosidase are the substances which are found in real bacterial cells. But this is not a real bacteria. It's the first primitive organism. That's why it is called as archaebacteria. That means it is a type of bacteria, but it is ancient, old type of bacteria, very old type of bacteria. That is why it is called, it is having a substance in cell wall called pseudomuramin. Pseudo means false muramin. This is real muramic acid. In this cell wall, it is having false muramic acid. But based on the cell wall differences only, these are grouped into two different groups. Okay? Right. That you can see one example of this archaebacteria is methanogens. Methanogens are found in cattle digestive system. Cattle digestive system, cattle eat more amount of plants. Plant cell wall has cellulose. This cellulose cannot be digested by cattle. So this methanogen has that capacity to digest cellulose. Okay. Cellulose are easily digested by these microorganisms or bacteria which are called as methanogens. So they are present in digestive system of this cow and they help in digestion of cow. Okay. So they are called as methanogens. Methanogens are the bacteria that are present in cattle digestive system. They help in digestion of cellulose. Okay. Now this is also used, methanogens are also used to make biogas. Biogas plants, you might have you might have listened, biogas plants are, why we add cow dung to biogas plant? In fact, that cow dung has so much amount of methanogens. From where it is coming? Cow dung is coming from the digestive system of cow only, no? Cow's body has this methanogens. So indirectly, methanogens are added to that compounds present in biogas plant so that more amount of biogas is produced. Okay, so this methanogens also part of archaeology. You know, they have, since their cell wall is different, they are the bacteria which can tolerate extreme climatic conditions. What are the extreme climatic conditions that they can tolerate? I'll say 1 minute. Since they have pseudomuramin, they can tolerate high temperature, high temperature, high salt concentration, high acidic concentration. These are called as thermophiles. They can tolerate high temperature. These are called as halophiles. They can tolerate high amount of salt concentration. And these are called as acidophiles. Okay. So these bacteria which can tolerate high temperature are called thermophiles, which can tolerate high salt concentration or halophiles, which can tolerate high acidic concentration or acidophiles. All these are present in archaebacteria only. Okay. This archaebacteria, because it have different cell wall, it can tolerate all this. Now, let us discuss about eubacteria. Eubacteria are slightly different. They have N-acetyl muramic acid and N-acetyl glucosamine inside their what was the name? Eubacteria. That means true bacteria. Their cell wall is strong, cell wall is rigid cell wall. If they are motile means if they move from one place to another place. All bacteria are not motile. Certain bacteria can move, certain bacteria cannot move. Those which can move are called as motile. If they are motile, they have flagellum is present. Flagellum is singular of flagella. This is singular, flagella is plural. Okay? Flagellum is present. Right. Okay. First type of eubacteria are cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria or first type of eubacteria, they have chlorophyll A. It's a type of chlorophyll which helps in photosynthesis. So these bacteria are photoautotrophic. Photoautotrophic. Photoautotrophic bacteria. So photoautotrophic bacteria are cyanobacteria. They are also called as blue-green algae. Blue-green algae. Because of presence of chlorophyll, they are seen as green color bacteria, and these are they either live they are unicellular. First thing is all bacteria are unicellular and they do not have nucleus. That's why they are called as prokaryotes. This is common for all bacteria. All bacteria have no nucleus, that's why they are called as prokaryotes, and they are unicellular. Okay, coming back to cyanobacteria, they either live in colonies or they live in filamentous. They are either filamentous or they live in colonies, and they are also found in separately single. These filamentous, what is filamentous means they form filaments. All unicellular bacteria will join like this and they'll form a filament like structure like this. Okay, around all these bacterial colonies there is a small sheath. This sheath is called as gelatinous sheath. Gelatinous sheath, which is made up of mucin. This is for protection, right? Okay, that is about cyanobacteria. Next, coming to the next type of eubacteria. Okay, these are all chlorophyll. Once I'll say, listen, chlorophyll A is present in cyanobacteria. That is why they are called as photoautotrophic bacteria. Cyanobacteria is also called as blue-green algae. They are unicellular. All the bacteria, not only this bacteria, all bacteria are unicellular and nucleus is absent. That's why they are called as prokaryotes. They either live in colonies or filamentous. And around these colonies, they are having gelatinous sheath. Gelatinous sheath that is made up of mucin. Okay, they either live in fresh water or marine water, or they are found on land also. They live in fresh water or marine water. Okay, that's all. Next thing about next second type of eubacteria. One type of eubacteria is eubacteria is cyanobacteria. Second type of eubacteria is, okay, one thing I forgot to say about cyanobacteria is some of these bacteria like Nostoc, Anabaena change their cells to form heterocyst. Heterocyst is a type of cell which helps in fixing atmospheric nitrogen. What is fixing atmospheric nitrogen? You know what is fixing atmospheric nitrogen. As atmospheric nitrogen is converted into soil nitrogen. That is done by this bacteria Nostoc, and we have already heard about nitrogen fixing by Rhizobium. Rhizobium is not a cyanobacteria because it does not have chlorophyll A. Some of the bacteria which are having chlorophyll A, like Nostoc, Anabaena, also fix atmospheric nitrogen. How? Some cells they modify into a heterocyst. This is a type of cell which can help in fixing nitrogen. Okay, second type of bacteria are chemoautotrophic bacteria. What are chemoautotrophic bacteria? Example, iron sulfur bacteria, purple sulfur bacteria, iron sulfur bacteria, purple sulfur bacteria are some of the example of chemosynthetic bacteria. This chemosynthetic bacteria use nitrite, nitrate, ammonia, sulfur, iron, substances like this, and they help in making their own food and generating their own ATP molecules by this process. Okay, now next, this chemoautotrophic bacteria help in recycling certain substances. What they can recycle? They can recycle iron, sulfur, phosphorus, nitrogen. So they also help in recycling these all substances. That's why they are very helpful. Third type of bacteria are heterotrophic bacteria, which act as decomposers. Decomposers, they help in recycling the soil nutrients. If any organism dead, on that bacteria they grow and convert into small particles. Okay, they help in removing the waste material on earth. This type of bacteria are very useful. They are also helpful in curdling of milk. They help in curdling of milk, making antibiotics, making antibiotics. Penicillin is an example. Penicillin, Penicillium notatum. And they also help in nitrogen fixing. Nitrogen fixing, example, rhizobium. Curdling of milk, lactobacillus. In this way, different ways, this heterotrophic bacteria are helpful. Some of them are parasites. Parasites means they cause diseases in plants, they cause diseases in animals, they cause diseases in humans. Example, if you take citrus canker is caused by a bacteria. Typhoid is caused by bacteria. Cholera is caused by bacteria. Okay, so these are the different diseases that are caused. So this is the fourth type. Okay, fourth type of bacteria are parasites. Okay, so in bacteria, either it is a cyanobacteria or chemoautotrophic bacteria or heterotrophic bacteria or this parasitic bacteria. These four types are there. Okay, now there is unicellular organisms like, there are some unicellular, what do you say, bacteria like mycoplasma. There is no cell wall around it. Mycoplasma is smallest living organism. Mycoplasma is smallest living organism. Smallest living organism. And it is found, it does not have cell wall is absent. It does not require oxygen to live, and oxygen is not required, and it is parasitic in nature. Mostly it is parasitic in nature. It causes diseases. So this is also a type of bacteria. Now we'll discuss. This is about the first one. In this Monera, we have seen that in Monera, we have seen that Archaebacteria are present. First type, Archaebacteria are present. Second one is Eubacteria. In Archaebacteria, we have seen that cell wall is different. That's why they are either halophiles, they can bear salt concentration, or thermophiles, they can bear heat concentration, or acidophiles, they can bear high amount of acid concentrations. Or they are found as methanogens in the digestive systems of cattle. We have also seen about eubacteria. There are four types of eubacteria. Either they are cyanobacteria, which can make their own food, autotrophic, photoautotrophic bacteria, or they are chemoautotrophic bacteria like iron sulfur bacteria, purple sulfur bacteria, which can make its own food by using chemicals like nitrites, nitrates, ammonia, etc. Or there are heterotrophic bacteria which help in curdling of milk, which help in fixing atmospheric nitrogen, or they help in making of antibiotics. There are certain heterotrophic bacteria which are parasite, they cause diseases. like Salmonella typhi is a bacteria which causes typhoid in our body. Citrus canker is caused in plant body. Animals head and foot disease is caused by this bacteria. So there are so many bacteria that cause diseases. Next, Mycoplasma is a type of bacteria which is not under eubacteria, which is not under archaebacteria. Why? It does not have any cell wall. Since it is not having any cell wall, it does not come under any of these groups. Right. Now we are discussing about Protista. Protista is the second kingdom of classification. Protista is the second kingdom of classification. It includes all unicellular organisms. So bacteria is also including, Monero is also including unicellular organisms. What is the difference? Here all are eukaryotic organisms. What is an eukaryotic organism? It has nucleus. Nucleus is present and organelles are present. Nucleus are present. Organelles means, you know, like mitochondria, Golgi complex. You have already studied about cell last year. So you know that organelles are different. Organelles are present inside the cell. All those organelles are present inside these organisms. So my cell is swinging. 1 minute. So these eukaryotes, unicellular eukaryotes, are included in this kingdom. And one thing is, it is a link between Monera. So Protista acts as link between Monera and other groups like fungi, plantae, animalia. Linking group means organisms which are not coming under Monera, they are not prokaryotic, they are not having characters of plants, animals or fungi. All those are pushed into a middle group called Protista. Protista is a kingdom which have wide variety of organisms in it. Why it is having wide variety of organisms means scientists divided well-defined those organisms which are having well-defined characters are pushed into other groups. Fungi, it is very specific. All the chitin, all the organisms which are having chitinous cell wall, they are saprophytes. Very clearly we can understand that these organisms are fungi. Plantae, autotrophic, and they can make their own foods. They are multicellular. We can understand clearly these are plants. Animals, yeah, animals also clear. These are animals which are not able to make their own food. They are depending on other organisms for food. So animals' characters also clear. Bacteria, it is unicellular, no nucleus, it is clear. But there are certain organisms which are not falling under these four groups. All those are included in Protista. So when you observe the organisms that are present in Protista, you'll find so many differences. So many differences are there. And scientists are in a situation that they are not accepting that these all organisms are same group. Suppose I'll bring a sweet box to you. In that there are so many sweets. So sweets like kalakan, sweets like gulab jamun or laddu, everyone will like. They'll take all those sweets which are favorite. At the end of that box, you will see all one jangri, one what do you say, badusha, like this kaja, which are not liked by many people. Those things you cannot say these are all one type. So like that, miscellaneous things are present in one area. They are called as Protista. Okay, Protista, there is no common character except they are unicellular prokaryotes. Okay, in this they are including chrysophytes are included in this. We'll discuss what is chrysophytes, what is dinoflagellates, slime molds. Fourth one, protozoa, and euglenoids. All these are included in this Protista. One is chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, slime molds, protozoa, euglenoids. When I discuss about this, you will understand by yourself this each subgroup is having a different character completely, but still they are all under same group. And when any future classification comes in which the organisms present in Protista also may be split into different groups, if there are some well-defined characters found. Okay. So first one is chrysophytes. We'll discuss about chrysophytes if our time permits. Okay, children, it is already 12:27. So we'll discuss the rest of the topic tomorrow.